Hey there, Smoke Master D coming at you again with another episode of Barbecue Buyer's Guide, this time to electric smokers. All right, and we've got some chapter times here for you. Please make sure that you like this video and subscribe to the channel. But these times here can help you jump around in this episode to watch what you want to see most. All right, and we're going to start off with electric smoker basics. Now, we're going to start first of all with the heating element, which is what makes the electric smoker the most like the oven that you probably have in your kitchen. Okay, so the heating element's going to turn on and it's going to create the heat by running electricity through those coils. Now, somewhere there's going to be something for wood chips. It could also be wood chunks. It's usually some sort of tray or box. There's also going to be a tray or box for water or a water bowl. Now, the configuration of these things down in the bottom near the heating element is actually one of the things that varies the most between different models. So this configuration, I believe, is what Pit Boss uses. There's going to be perhaps a heat diffusing sort of plate above those that's going to help the heat even out from side to side. Now, there may not be that. The water bowl and the wood chip tray could act in that way as well. So, again, a little bit of difference. Now, the one thing that won't be different throughout is that there's going to be food racks up above there. There's going to be some sort of exhaust. Okay, some of them you can change the amount of exhaust, and some you can't. There'll be a door handle there to open to the unit. Of course, I didn't include it, but there's going to be an electric plug, and those are really the main things for the electric smoker. Whether or not it has insulation or a double wall, it whatever the case, it's going to be trying to keep that heat in, and those are basically the things for this kind of smoker. All right, and now for the pros and the cons. So, number one, these electric smokers are very little work to operate. They're really great that way. Now, out of all the smokers, they are on that side, and there's some on the other side that you have to be at and doing stuff a lot of the time. Now, the one thing about them is the chips and adding more chips and how often you have to do that. So, that could be something that makes them a little bit more work. But there are ones with systems, particularly Bradley's, that you don't even have to do that. Now, the flip side of that is that they can be sort of boring to operate. Even with some smokers that do require very little of you to do, like, the pellet grills or whatever, that roaring fire down there in the pot is a little bit more interesting and exciting than basically it's an oven that smokes some. It's a smoker oven. But the other thing is, if you want to be there doing stuff, fiddling with something, stoking a fire, thinking about the cook, it can be boring. But that's sort of up to personal preference and taste. Number two, you are easily able to smoke below 200 degrees for sausages, right? Really, electric smokers shine in this area maybe more than any other kind of smoker out there. The ability to keep and maintain really low sort of temperatures. Now, the opposite side of that is that many of these models are not able to go very high. So, 275 is really the top limit of many of their ranges. Now, I'm going to show you a chart of top ranges when we get to the chart section. Some can do higher temperatures more easily than others. And the reason that that's important is especially for something like chicken, when you want to brown up the skin and make it so it's not all like rubbery and stuff when you're eating it, you do need to bump that temperature up, right? And of course, there's other things that are sort of leaner and, steaks, searing. This thing's not going to sear, it's just not. Now, there was one unit I saw that had a broiler on top, but unfortunately, it didn't get very good reviews. Maybe those will change in the future, but we'll see that when we get to it. Number three, so it easily accommodates cold smoking with accessories. So a lot of these you can just get a cold smoker with it, right? That'll hook right into the side. So if you want to do cold smoking, it's not the only kind of smoker that can accommodate cold smoking, but it is one I think that many, if not most people use to do their cold smoking. So if you want to do, like cheeses, and other things, I think a lot of people use it for jerky too, and some accessories help with that. Now, the opposite side is that there's not a smoke ring usually for most of what you're going to be cooking on these electric smokers. And that is not something that has to do with taste. It doesn't change the taste at all. But it is visual and it's visually appealing to see a smoke ring. So if that's what you want, sometimes we eat food with our eyes as much as we eat it with our taste buds and our stomachs. That's personal preference too. Like I said, doesn't change the taste, but it is a thing, right? Another pro is that these units are small. They don't take up a lot of space. You can usually put them by a wall in your garage or, your storage, wherever that is. They don't take up a lot of, wood, and electricity is usually pretty economical as well. And then the con of that, of course, is that electricity is required, right? So, do you want to take a smoker out for camping and out into the countryside? Maybe not the best smoker for that. It is limited, and that's not a big thing either, but just something to think about. All right, and here are a few important notes. So, the prices on these mass-produced items, they can change, right? So a lot of the ones that are created by the bigger companies, Masterbuilt, Char-Broil, those prices are not set in stone. Okay, you can find deals. You can look around and look for deals. So feel free to do that, especially at like the end of the season, December, January. You can find some really good deals, during the colder months, off season, when they're trying to clear out some inventory, maybe for some new models. So look for that kind of stuff. Now, the flip side of that is that the higher end units, the prices don't change quite as often. You're usually not going to be able to find a deal. Now, that's not always true, but in general, it is. Number three, now this is a really big thing, I think, that has turned a lot of people off to electric smokers, is that maybe they don't have the right extension cords or plugins, for the equipment that they're using. So if you have an electric smoker, definitely make sure you look into having the right gauge cords. The thing is, if you don't, your temperatures aren't going to be where you want them to be, right? And that is one way to get really frustrated with these electric smokers. So definitely check that when you buy one, and make sure that you can use it pr- in the way that it's meant to be used. Okay. Number four, and we talked about these on the cons. These things don't really reach 300 or higher. And number five, I have to put a cap on these things somewhere, or I'd be doing a whole lot. I decided not to go over $1,000 for any of the smokers that I cover today. There are ones that are more than that, and these makers have ones that are more than 1,000. Some of them do, but and the other thing, I'm not covering bullet style electric smokers, so I did an episode on bullet smokers, and some of those ones, I only did the charcoal ones, but some of them you can actually put electric elements in. Some of them have electric elements instead of charcoal. If you want to look into those, please do, but they won't be here. All right, and where to buy them? Now, I am an affiliate for Amazon and Walmart. As of yet, I've never actually gotten any money from them. I keep putting links in these videos, and I still haven't met the required minimum $10 to get anything from Amazon. Try. Home Depot, Lowe's. There's a dozen other box stores. You can look online. Now, and as we go through these, I'm going to tell you where I found the prices that I did. Sometimes it's lower on Amazon. Sometimes it's lower on the retailer's website. Usually not, though. But we'll talk about that as we go. Okay. But if you do see a price on Amazon or Walmart, please do go to the description in this video. And if you're gonna buy from them, if you use my link beforehand, it could help me out. But I'm not going to try to get you to shop just there just to help me, right? This video is about helping you all. Okay. All right, and we're going to start off with Masterbuilt. We got that analog smoker, really cheap. Walmart price here. That's what the W means. It was 112. I actually saw it on Amazon, I believe, for 109, but I did everything with that 112 price, so keeping that there. We have this Masterbuilt 210 analog 30-inch for 199 on Amazon. The 30-inch digital, so both Amazon and Walmart there for 219.91. And just to show you the price difference, if you wanted to get it from the Masterbuilt website itself, 279.99, right? Now, 30-inch digital there that doesn't have the legs for 222.39 on both Amazon and Walmart. And this is the one with that broiler, the 30-inch digital with the broiler and Bluetooth. Bluetooth's great, but Home Depot there for 299. Unfortunately, there were a lot of negative reviews. I really wanted to like that model, but I guess there were some issues with it. Who knows? Maybe they fixed them by now, but unfortunately, can't really recommend it that well for you. Smoke Hollow, 399.99 on Amazon. This is a strange one. I did look around and find another deal that was a whole lot lower than that. It seems like they might be phasing this one out. So Masterbuilt, they bought Smoke Hollow, which was a separate company, I believe. And now it seems like they're not really doing a whole lot with them. But these ones I think are fully insulated, whereas some of them of their other units may be just double walled. It's probably a good unit, but you can't put the chips in from the side like their other ones. So and I have no idea how much longer these things will be around. Now we go to the Bluetooth digital 40-inch stainless for 776.82 on Walmart. All right, and we're going to take a look at some of these. So, top left is the interior of the digital. See, they have the water pan there. They also have, that sort of chute there for part wherein you drop the chips in. So that's a chip tray and water pan. If you go down, you can see the stand there for easier access. On the top of the digital, you have those dampers, which are going to control how much smoke, stays in or comes out. In general, I would keep those fairly wide open, just so you get, that airflow. And on the bottom there, we've got that broiler from the one from Home Depot. So, I wish that one had better reviews, but that's what it is there. The Smoke Hollow one looks very similar to the inside of the digital one, even though we know that you can't put the chips in from the side. And it does have that strange little grabber. See those two holes there? It will allow you to pull that chip tray out, put in more chips, and then push it back in. And if we look at the analog there on the bottom, we see that it has a cover for the chip tray and then the water pan over there on the left hand side. So, you are going to have to open that up for adding the chips. And here we have some accessories. They've got a rib rack for 19.99 there on Amazon. The slow smoker. So this is the first time we get to see the cold smoke accessory here. So on Amazon, you can get it for 63.52. Masterbuilt sells it for 79.99 on their website. And the thing's going to burn some chips for you. It's going to have its own little heating element there, and it will allow you to cold smoke. And this is one of the things that if you want to do a whole cook without adding wood chips, um, you you might be able to fill this up to the amount that you want and allow it to go. So that is perhaps one solution for making it even more set and forget. That universal leg extension kit there, 5226 from Amazon and 7370 from Walmart. Fish and vegetable mat. So Amazon, the 30-inch one, 16.97, and the 40-inch one, 18.99, depending on what model you have. The 30-inch cover there from Walmart, 35.99, or 40-inch from Walmart is 40.75. All right, and now we're going to take a look at Char-Broil. So their analog electric smoker, 169.99 on Amazon. They have a deluxe silver for 239.99. That is a digital one. The deluxe black on Amazon, 349.99. Now, I was thinking maybe these were the same model, but they're not. They have different weights. So I think the deluxe black is a little bit bigger. We go to the 1,000 square inch one, which is the biggest of all. And strangely enough, it's the same price on Walmart as the Deluxe Black. Everything on the left is the analog. See, it's got that little top vent there. There's the trays for the wood chips and the water. Now, you notice the wood chip tray goes right under a place that keeps any water from dripping down on it, so it's protected. So that is good. The water tray goes under one with those little vent holes so that water can go right on up. There's a grease catch there at the very bottom as well. And you see the plug in there, and it's going to control the amount of electricity, which is also going to control the temperature. So very basic kind of stuff for this analog, and we'll see that again and again also. Now we're going to go up and do the digital one, and it has easier grease removal with that side tray that comes out. And there we have the control panel, a view of it. Um, there's a remote and a probe. If you want to have that remote elsewhere, that can be very nice. And then we have a look at the inside there. There's going to be that water pan and the place for the chip box. So you can put that chip box right in there. And then, that air intake as well. And that sort of drip pan, they're also acting as a heat dispersal plate too. All right, and not a whole lot of accessories for Char-Broil here. They have a cover there from Amazon, 15.99, and a stand. The Walmart price there is 64.47. Some of these larger companies that make a whole lot of different stuff, they're not as focused on their electric smokers, and we're going to see as we go through them that they're not going to have quite as many accessories as some of these companies that are very focused on electric smokers. And that's going to be the case with Dyna-Glo. We have this analog smoker from Walmart for 216.13. I think they used to make digital ones, but it seemed like they were sold out or not maybe in production anymore for all the ones that I was looking at for them. They have a cover for 39.99 from Amazon. And here's a look inside, that same sort of temp control on the outlet input there. A side chip feeder. Now, when we look at the inside here, we got that grease catch at the bottom, chrome plated racks, water pan, and the wood chip tray and chute. Okay. Now, The biggest complaint that I've seen about this Dyna-Glo model is that the wood chip tray is not covered. So, you have your meat up there. If any of those drippings come down into that wood chip tray, it could mess up the way that your chips are smoking. So, for that reason alone, I would not recommend you get this one. I think that that's a major design flaw that you want your chips to be smoking and protected while they're smoking. So I would not get this Dyna-Glo smoker. All right, and now we've got the Cuisinart. So from Walmart, 219.98. It's a 30-inch model. They have a cover that fits up to 36 inches, I guess there, and that is on Amazon for 36.99. And here we see the inside. You're going to see that that wood chip tray is very nicely covered here. So, and you can see to the right that you can pull it out, and that little, I guess the tray that holds the water pan and wood chips. You can put the wood chips in the racks above. Seems like it's a pretty solidly made little unit. Basic, but it'll do the job. All right, and now for Pit Boss. So, they have Series 2 and Series 3, okay? And we're going to look at their Series 3 analog up there in the top left, 209 from Pit Boss, okay? Now, to me in North Carolina, the shipping added to it and the tax was 274.05. Just want to give you that for the reference. Now, most of these you're going to be able to pick up either at a store or you're going to have free shipping. So that's why I put it at that pricing, just because I could only get it from Pit Boss itself. Now we're going to see on the other side that we have digital ones are going to be from Amazon and other retailers, but the analog Series 2 from Amazon 289.62. You can see it's kind of squatter, a little bit wider there. Going to the top right, the PBV3A1 from the 3 series is 349 from Amazon. We go down here, the 77232 Silver Star is 330 from Barbecue Guys, so $10 less, $10 less. All right, and they have very similar features throughout. I think sizing is the real difference between most of the models. The chip tray has those very interesting looking vents there on the top. You put the chips in there. So porcelain coated racks, Pit Boss, they do a lot of porcelain coated racks on all their different kind of smokers. Water bowl there at the bottom, air vents on the back side, and a pull bar. Caster so you can move it around pretty easily, and a grease tray that's pull out there as well. So you can see the difference between, that knob for the analog, and you see the digital readout below the chip tray there. Interestingly enough, I think they have a meat probe on their analog, and that very small temperature gauge there beside the knob is where you read that. So does that make it better? I think most people are probably going to put in their own wired thermometers for most of these others. So I don't know if that would be super helpful, but it is super interesting. All right. And again, Pit Boss, they don't make a whole lot of stuff especially for their electric smokers. They've got these covers, the Series 2 from Walmart, 34.85, Series 3 from Amazon, they're 32.99. And now we're at Bradley smokers. All right, so their basic model there, the BS611, 429 on Amazon. Now the 76P there, P I think stands for professional, on Amazon for 549. The Amazon also has the 108P for 649.99. Their website, Bradley's website, has a sale price for this P10 which I believe is their newest one, and that sale price is $7.99. So at another retailer, I think it might have been Walmart, saw it for $849.99. Originally, I think it might have been $100 more than that. So a dramatic drop in price for the P10. And I don't know if that is a sign for worrying. I do know it doesn't have Wi-Fi. Maybe they're working on that. Maybe, there'll be an upgraded unit that comes out soon. Maybe they're trying to get rid of their inventory for the current P10. That's all speculation on my part. But that 799 could be a really good price, and we'll take a look at that further in the charts. Now, the thing that really separates Bradley from everybody else is this biscuit thing that they do, right? And each of these biscuits lasts for 20 minutes. So if you know about how long you want to smoke, you can, put as many biscuits in there for that. You can have it so that there's less smoke and you just smoke for the first half of your smoke. And you can see the analog there to the left, and sort of in the middle-ish top, we have the digital side, and you can control all these things that way. And there's the feeder, that middle bottom picture. They go along. There's a heating element there on the back. I think, at least I know for the P10, there's a special element just for the biscuits. And the other thing is that after the 20 minutes, they get shoved into the water bowl, right? So that they don't burn anymore. Now, this means that you're only going to get the best smoke out of these. And I'm not entirely sure how much of a problem it is to have dirty smoke with just regular wood chips. If put that down in the comments of this video. I'd love to hear that. But yeah, so you will only smoke the part that you want. Then it's extinguished in the water bowl. There is a heat diffuser plate there. You can see it on the right hand side picture. Stainless steel interior. Okay. So that's really great, especially for cleaning, especially for protection against rust. So a lot of stainless steel in these Bradley smokers. I believe they're made in Canada. They're a Canadian company, at least. So they will do a really good job, and they're very well thought out in a lot of regards. Okay, and here we have some things for the P10 itself. Now, you can see that tray gripper on the top left. So that's going to allow you to grip the trays and pull them out. You don't want to burn your hands on there. If you have your oven mitts, not a big deal. There are tray catches, so you can pull these trays out of the unit, and they'll catch and they won't tip down. So that's really nice. They've enclosed the biscuit feeder, right? So it's all in one unit. You don't have to, take out the feeder and put it back in. You just open that little door and it's right there. There's a hanging bar at the top, when you want to hang sausage or, get some hooks for ribs. So that could be really great. Condensation bowl, so it's not going to be raining down any condensation up around the top exhaust. There are two heating elements, like I said before, and I think one of them is specifically for the biscuits. There are two probes. There's a vent cover there. So this thing has been engineered in an attempt, I think, to make it the best electric smoker possible. Interestingly, there is a thumb drive port, which it's been a long time since I've had a thumb drive, back in the early 2000s. But yeah, if you want to program or you want to remember your cooking instructions for a smoke and have them on that thumb drive, or create recipes, I think online maybe, and then put them on the thumb drive and insert them, which really sort of highlights one of the things that's not so great about this P10 is that it does not have any sort of connectivity that I know of. definitely doesn't have Wi-Fi, and I don't think it has Bluetooth either. So, um, and maybe that is something that they will fix in the future. We'll just have to wait and see. All right, and here we have the accessories. Now, there's a cold smoke adapter kit. Now, I'm thinking that this is only going to work for the models that are not the P10. I'm not entirely sure what you could do for cold smoking on the P10 or if there is anything available for that. But on the Bradley website, it's 139.99. There's a non-stick mat there from Bradley itself, 3674. Amazon, 29.95. The hooks, we mentioned those that you can have at the top, hang ribs, sausages, whatever. Bradley 29.39, Amazon 22.86. A port cover, okay? So all the ones that aren't the P10, you're able to take off the biscuit feeder, and to cover that and protect it. You can get a magnetic cover that's 15.99 from Bradley. We've got the cover for the P10, 52.49. For the 4 rack one is 47.24 from Bradley, 39.99 on Amazon. 6 rack, 52.49 from Bradley, and 39.11 on Amazon. Interestingly, even less than the 4 rack. And you've got a kitchen cart over there. You want to have your smoker on a cart, wheel it around, have some storage space for other odds and ends that you might be using. 225 on Bradley and Amazon 204.95. And now to talk about biscuits. Yeah. So you see up there on Amazon, Hickory 16.49 and Apple 12.99. So 24 biscuits, which you can do the math to figure out how long in 20-minute intervals that's going to be. So one thing that a lot of people like and dislike has to do with these biscuits, right? I talked before about you have a whole lot of control over how much smoke your meat gets by using them. The bad part is you have to buy them from Bradley. There are a few videos out there on making your own, which, maybe that is something that you want to do. I don't know. But the whole sort of convenience side of it uh, kind of goes out the window if you're spending effort making your own biscuits. But yeah, the one thing about it is they're very easy to use. The opposite side is you have to buy them. Now, I don't think that they're in a lot of stores, so you have to usually buy them online. Now, in the years that Bradley's been doing this and making them and selling them, we've become much more accustomed to buying things online than we were before. Maybe maybe buying biscuits off of Amazon or from Bradley's website is totally easy for you now, and that's not a big deal. The one thing, is if you forgot that you've run out of biscuits and you have people coming over and they're expecting barbecue and you need some really fast, it could become an issue there, right? In general, though, it's not going to be a big deal. And it's up to what you want or your preference, right? It's how the Bradley smoker works, and they've done very well for a long time because of it. If you like it, you like it. If you don't, you don't. All right, and now we are on to Smokin-It. Okay, and these smokers are, completely stainless steel. They've got the insulation, right? So smoking it for the Model 1 there, and the smaller they are, the lower the number. It's going to be 429.99 from Amazon, 449.99. The Smokin-It Model 2 from Amazon is 629.99. So it looks like for the Model 1, it was a little bit cheaper on the Smokin-It website and a little bit more expensive on Amazon. I think that they were offering free shipping when I looked on the Smokin-It website. That may not be the case always though, so definitely check on that. Now, they have a digital model of the number 2, the generation 1 there for $829.99. And then the smoker model number 3, plain analog there on the Smokin-It website $899.99. Then they have a generation 2 of the digital, and you can get that for the Smoker Model 3, but that takes it above 1,000. But for the 2, it is $939.99. So like I said, currently free shipping from Smokin-It.com. Who knows how long that'll last. The number 2 digital, generation 2, has Wi-Fi connectivity. So if that's what you're looking for, there it is. And here we're going to see that we have some features. And over the next few companies, they're going to have very similar sort of features. So we're going to go over them. But for the digital ones, they're going to come with this guard for the internal temp sensor. And I believe that you can get it as a separate part to upgrade for the analog ones. But that's nice. You know, you don't want your food hitting the internal temp sensor for certain. And having that guard there could be helpful for that. It's got some side handles, a grease tray. Now, there is the wood box there. You see that middle bottom, and it is for wood chunks. They will sell a screen for wood chips, but you have to buy that separately. So the box itself is for wood chunks, and we're going to find that across the board for these next few. Comes with a 12-foot power cord, which may be the longest that these kind have. So that's really nice. See the digital control board up there. Fiberglass insulation, good stuff. These things, these next few companies, they're going to hold their heat really well. These Smokin-It, they are not made in the United States. Cookshack is the only one who does, that I'm certain of for this episode. So we'll see them in a little bit. They're a little bit more expensive because of that. Okay, so a lot of stainless steel there. Drip pan on the bottom. Okay. And here we have a treasure trove of accessories. There is a cord hanger there at the top left. For Model 1, it's $15.99. 2 and 3, $17.99. It's a little bit of a bummer that they don't have a cord hanger just that comes with it, but they don't. Then we have the rib hooks there, set of 12 for $24.99. You can get those from the Smokin-It website. A hanging bar, you know, you don't want the rib hooks without the hanging bar, but for Model 1, it's going to be $29.99, and 2 and 3, it's going to be $32.99. A turkey or ham or whole chicken rack, $79.99 there. It looks like it's stainless steel. Bacon hanger rack, another thing that you want that bar for. Or maybe you can hook the bar into one of the trays from their website, $49.99. The covers for Model 1, $99.99, Model 2, $109.99, and Model 3, $119.99. Wi-Fi controller upgrade is $299.99. Now, one thing to know about this is that it's only for the digital generation 1 to upgrade to digital generation 2. If you have the analog, it does not upgrade the analog to that, and I'm not sure why, but their website made it clear. And if that were the case, that you could upgrade from the analog directly to that Wi-Fi controller, I think a lot of people would do that because it's less expensive, but for some reason you can't. The Sasha Flavor Saver. Okay, so this hangs below the rack, and you can put, water in there. I would definitely consider getting this because you're going to want some extra moisture in your chamber just to even out the heat. So that's a good thing to have. $34.99. I didn't put all the special names in my descriptions here, but it seemed, from what I could tell, that they named a lot of things after their dogs. So I think Sasha might be a dog's name. And if you look at their website and find a lot of cool names, and Bella's cold smoke generator over there, I think Bella is also a dog. So fun fact, Nellie's smoking basket there, $64.99. The veggie holders, $49.99. For each of those, however you want your veggies, bigger or smaller. Some people like to smoke jalapenos. We've got that stainless cart up there, top right, for models in 1 and 2, $289.99, or model number 3, $319.99. The Bella's cold smoke generator seems to be very well made, and it is from their website $154.99. So, if you want that cold smoke, or if you want your smoke coming from somewhere else besides that box over the heating element, it could be a very good thing for you. The jerky dryer. So you're going to see that on a few of these as well. What does this do? It is, I believe, a fan that's going to draw the air through the machine very quickly. So that's going to keep it from having any moisture just stick around, because these things are pretty well closed up, and they don't have a lot of airflow. Smokin-It, the Tex one, and the Cookshack, they don't have a whole lot of airflow, maybe unlike some of the previous ones. But to get that airflow so that it dries out the jerky, you're going to have this fan that hooks on top of where the air vent is. Now, another thing you can hook on is this rain cap that's right next to it, to the left, for $26.99. The wood chip screen insert right there for the Model 1, $25.99, Model 2, $29.99, and Model 3, $37.99. So that's going to hold your wood chips in the wood box so that they are the proper height to burn correctly for you. All right. All right, so now we've got Smokin Tex, and they make the similar style of electric smokers as Smokin-It, and we see their 1400 there for $665, and their 1100 for $465. Now, Barbecue Guys is a website that sells Smokin Tex, and they have the same prices as the Smokin Tex website. The only difference is that Barbecue Guys gives free shipping, whereas Smokin Tex does not. So anything that you can get from Barbecue Guys rather than Smokin Tex, you will have a savings on the shipping. Okay. And we see that heating element in there. The design is almost exactly the same, as far as I can tell, as Smokin-It. So you see the wood tray there. You have to buy the screen as well, extra. Yeah, the wood tray is right over the heating element again. It is basically the same thing, as far as I can tell. Maybe there's a small difference that I don't know of. If you do, you know, tell us in the comments. I believe that even the holders for the trays there can come out, so that could be a good thing. That was one thing that you could get on that P10 Bradley as well, but I think on these kind of models you can do that too. All right, now we have the accessories from Smokin Tex. They have a potato speed cooker up there, which seems really fun, for $24.95. Fine mesh basket, $34.95. And here we have the wood chip insert for $19.95 plus shipping. Or on the Barbecue Guys, it's $49. So it's a toss up which it would be better there for that. The turkey tote, $29.95. The jerky dryer, same thing, with sort of the fan drawing that air out, for $119.95 from Smokin Tex. Now this is really interesting. Smokin-It has a special thing for cold smoking. That Bella cold smoker to the side. Smokin Tex does it differently. They have a plate that is going to block the majority of the heat from the element and create a cold smoke by just creating the upper part of the chamber is a whole lot cooler. So that plate for the 1100 is $54.95, and for the 1460 it's $79.95. The 1460 is not the same model as the 1400. So, and I never understood if that would be the same size plate, so you might have to contact Smokin Tex themselves to check on that one. Now, they have 12 rib hooks for 19.95, or from Barbecue Guys 42. Remember, the shipping makes that sort of a toss up. Seafood rack, the 1100 for the 1100 29.95, for the 1400 39.95. Stainless cart for 229.95. The flavor box, it's going to be that reservoir again that hangs under your food, 29.95. Covers for the 1100 44.95, and for the 1400 49.95. And now we're here at Cookshack. Smokin-It Original is going to be $787.50. You can get these from Barbecue Guys as well. I might help you on the shipping. And the Smokin-It Elite, which is digital, is $997.50. All right, and as I said before, Cookshack's the only company that makes everything here in the United States. Let's take a look. So the probe for the 25 there, going through the vent hole at the top, we have the heating elements. The SM025 is a little bit different from the 009 and the previous models in that it doesn't slide directly on. It's more of a shelf for those heating elements there. There is spin glass insulation. So for the Smokin-It, it was fiberglass. Is it different? It's high temperature insulation, so really good stuff that way. The foil you see over the top of that wood box, pretty much all of these companies tell you to put foil over a lot of the components at the bottom of the smoker, just to make cleanup even easier. So yeah, but as far as the internals go, not super different from any of the rest of them, that I can tell at least. And here we have some accessories. So that cold smoke baffle, so similar to the Smokin Tex, is going to be the for the 009, the 6147, and then for the 025 8608 from Barbecue Guys there. Flavor reservoir, again, it's a $65 from Barbecue Guys. The pepper poppers for 1 dozen, it's $30.76. 2 dozen pepper poppers, $35.68. So not a huge increase in price for all those extra popper holes. Seafood rack, $22.15 for the 009, $54.57 for the 025. The rib rack up there for the 025, 7 racks, it's going to be $54.45. Cover for the 009 is $53.01. And so that was, I think, specific to be just sort of a box design. Over here from Barbecue Guys, we have one for the 025 for $66.15 and the 009 for $62.69. I can't remember where I found the other cover there on the right. It might have been Amazon. I'll have to look into that. So we've got a stand with a cabinet, and from Barbecue Guys, it's for the 025. It's $498.75. So that's on the high side. It is stainless steel though, so definitely nice there. Jerky rods for the 025 from Barbecue Guys, and those rods are $43.07. And we finally made it to charts. All right. So here is the chart on the max temp. One thing I'd like to say before the fact is that some numbers in charts are, estimates. But as far as I try to make them as accurate as possible. I try to find numbers from the companies, but some of them are as close as I can get in just estimates. But here we have, Smokin-It, Smokin Tex, and the Cookshack 009 all have top temperatures of 250. Can they go over that a little bit? Maybe they can, but that's the general top temperatures. Masterbuilt, Char-Broil, and Dyna-Glo there. Top temps at 275. The regular Bradleys are going to be 280. The Cookshack 25 can go up to 300. The P10 can go up to 320, which might be a good selling point for it over the other Bradleys. The Analog for the Pit Boss can go up to 325, and the Smokin-It digital models can go up to 325. The Pit Boss digital can go up to 350, and the Cuisinart somehow goes all the way up to 400. I don't know exactly why it can go so high. All these ones, they have the wattage listed. So the wattage, I believe, corresponds to these max temperatures. So maybe that is part of it as well. But yeah, here we go. All right, and we're going to break it into 4 different types: analog carbon, and then digital carbon, then analog stainless, and then digital stainless. Okay, so we're starting with analog carbon prices. So from that very low end with the 618 and 112 all the way to the high end with the Bradley Smoker 611 at 429. And I want to say that the Bradley one, it is analog, and it has, I believe, carbon steel on the exterior as opposed to the stainless. This is the best place that I could fit it, but it really doesn't fit here. And we'll talk about that at the end of the analog carbon section. All right, the weight. So bottom weight there, 28 pounds of the 618, and then 6173 for that Pit Boss 320 at the top. $1 per pound. Okay, so the Char-Broil analog is going to have the lowest, and the Bradley 611 is going to have the most. As I said before, it's not really a very good fit here, but it is what we have. It is the place that I've put it. The 220 there below it at 499. So that Series 2, and the Series 3 for Pit Boss is a little bit lower. All right, inches squared for the analog. All right. So that 618 has the lowest, that Pit Boss Series 3 has the highest, and you can see how they go up in relationship from bottom to top. All right, dollars per inches squared. So the Char-Broil analog is the lowest there at 31 cents per inch squared. Now, the Masterbuilt 618, not a whole lot higher there at 32 cents. The Bradley, of course, is the most expensive. The Series 2 Pit Boss, second most expensive. And the Dyna-Glo below there, which I already told you I don't recommend, is next highest. All right, Amazon stars. Okay, so Amazon, they do their star rating system a little bit differently than other websites. So I usually like to look at them because I think they have some sort of equation that they use to try to make it better than just straight stars. But yeah, the Dyna-Glo there and the Bradley 611 there at the bottom end, and the 210 Masterbuilt and the Cuisinart and the Masterbuilt 618 there at the top. These are all, in general, they're pretty close, a spread of 0.3 to 0.6, but they do represent some people's frustration with the machines and problems with them. So wanted to give those to you. Dollar per Amazon star. And I don't know exactly how helpful this number is, but that Masterbuilt lowest there, the Char-Broil after that, Bradley highest, pretty much falls in line with some of the other numbers that we've seen. All right, so put the dollars per pound and dollar per square inch on a 10-point scale between the lowest to highest, and then I average them together, and the Char-Broil analog is at the top, Bradley at the bottom. So everything's pretty much falling in line or the same kind of way for most of these. I threw in the dollar per Amazon star as well, and then that Masterbuilt 618 bumps up. Okay, and here are my thoughts. Um, the smoker that I recommend to starting out for, if you're smoking and you're just starting, I would get that Char-Broil Analog. It's a little bit bigger than the Masterbuilt that was close to it. I think that it can do really good stuff for you if you're starting out, or maybe you just want, an easy smoker with your other smokers. It could really do that. Easy access, that Pit Boss 320. Okay, and it's really easy to put the new chips in. Really easy to get the grease out at the end. So that could be really good for you. And the set and forget biscuit, the Bradley BO611. I think that if you want a Bradley, it's the one on the lower end, stainless inside. If biscuit is the way you want to go, this could be really good for you. It's their only analog one, so it's it for analog biscuits, and maybe that's what you want. All right, and let's go to digital carbon. The bottom price there with the Masterbuilt 421. And then at the top, we have that smoke hollow that I think they're phasing out. Again, I saw it for a lot cheaper than that on one place, but I didn't put that in here. The Pit Boss 3A1 there, second highest, 349. Um, so yeah, you can take a look and see for yourself how these stack up. The weight, okay, that Masterbuilt 117 is going to weigh the least, 45.9. The Pit Boss 3A1, the most, 72 pounds. You see how they fare between there. Dollar per pound, that Masterbuilt 421, the best, and the Char-Broil 004, the Smoke Hollow, the worst. Pit Boss 232 there after that. So yeah, Masterbuilt 519 with that, and I believe that's the one with the broiler on top from Home Depot. Inches squared. So I could not find the inches squared for the Smoke Hollow, which to me just means even more that I should leave it out, kind of. But there it is. The PBV 3A1 there with the least, and the Pit Boss 232 at the most. It's a pretty close spread here, 684, 711 to 760 there. Dollar per inches squared. The Masterbuilt 421 there at 31 cents. Masterbuilt 117 also at 31 cents per inch, dollar per inches squared. The Pit Boss 3A1 there at the top, spread out between there. You can see the other numbers. Star rating. So I have Amazon and Walmart. Some of them that PB232 didn't have an Amazon one for, but you can see that for the Amazon one, the 519 is on the lower end, with as well as the Smoke Hollow, the Masterbuilts 421 and 117 at the higher end. Again, 0.3 to zero point 0.5 is not hugely different, but it is what it is. Then I took the 10-point average for the dollar per pound and the dollar per square inch. The highest was the Masterbuilt 421, and right behind it is that 117. Okay, and the Char-Broil 101 there at the bottom. And here are my thoughts. So, if you want a digital carbon steel electric smoker, I would definitely recommend this, the 421 30-inch digital with the stand. I think it's going to be your best buy there. Okay. If you don't want the stand or a window, the regular 30-inch digital from Masterbuilt, also a best buy. Uh, Masterbuilt, they've been doing it for a long time. You know, you can look at these other companies who want to sort of horn in on their success, but I think Masterbuilt's where it's at for digital carbon. All right, and now analog stainless. So we have the Smokin-It at the bottom there at 449.99. So these are going to be a little bit more expensive, right? And then the Smokin-It number 3 there at the top with 899.99. So the weight for the analog stainless is going to be the least for the Smokin Tex 1100, and the most for the Smokin-It Model 3 there at 125. Kind of covered up that number a little bit. Dollar per pound for analog, the stainless. We've got the lowest is the Smokin-It number 2, then Smokin-It number 3. At the top, we have the Cookshack 009 at 1064. Now, the inches squared for these are the lowest with the Smokin Tex 1100 and the most for the Smokin-It number 3. Dollar per inches squared analog stainless. It's going to be the lowest for the Smokin-It number 3 and Smokin-It number 2. Interestingly, the Cookshack 009 is not the highest. It actually goes to the Smokin Tex 1100. All right, volume. Okay, so this is the first time I've done volume. And the main reason I didn't do volume for the other two was that I just couldn't get the numbers. When I say volume here, it's going to be the inside of the smoker, not the outside, right? So, and in a past episode I did from the bottom rack up. I didn't mess with trying to figure that out. Some of those numbers are just so hard for me to find, or they're not available, or I have to do, more estimating. But and I had to estimate some for these too. But the inside of the chambers is what I'm shooting at here. The Smokin-It number 1, the smallest inside chamber to 2700, and the Smokin-It number 3, the largest was 6600. And you can see the breakdown in the middle there. All right, and dollar per inches cubed. The best for Smokin-It number 3. The Smokin-It number 2 is the same. Then the Cookshack 009 there at the top. All right, and then I did the 10-point scale, between the lowest and highest for each of these. And then, I averaged them out. Smokin-It number 2 is, the best overall. Smokin-It number 3. Cookshack, unfortunately, the worst. If you want to buy American, that's your best option there. But if you want to go for better price, and as far as I can tell, I can't see any difference in quality of any of these. Maybe you know differently. Put that in the comments. And here are my thoughts. The Smokin-It number 2 has the best value overall, but I would recommend the Smokin-It number 3. I saw one comment somewhere, somebody who wishes they had gone with the number 3 over the number 2, just because it being that little bit extra longer, you know, brisket and ribs, if you're doing a whole packer, uh, if you want to be able to fit it in, you need that extra length, right? So that's my thought on it. The Model 3 is more, but just for that extra length to be able to get the ribs in there, not having to cut up the packer brisket more just to fit it in there, I would recommend the Model 3. Of course, the Model 2 is good too. All right, and now we are to digital stainless. So, yeah, that Char-Broil 1000 there at the bottom, and then the Cookshack 025 there at the top. We see the Masterbuilt there close to the bottom one, the Bradley one's going up. The Bradley P10 that S. So that is the sale price for 799 that we're currently running. I put the regular Bradley P10 at 850. About the Smokin-It digital generation 1 there is between those two. The digital generation 2 up there at the top next to the Cookshack. All right, and then the weight, 61 pounds for that Bradley on the bottom end, and 114 for the Smokin-It Model 2s. Now, I took the analog weight for the Smokin-It and just kind of used it as the weight here because I didn't find a separate weight. Hopefully, that's the correct way to do it, but that is the way I did it. The other thing to note is that the Cookshack is a shipping weight, which means it's probably high. It's probably less than that 88 there. But seeing as it's so expensive, it's not going to help it that much. And as you see for the dollar per pound, it's still the highest, the Cookshack there up top at 1134. Note that that number probably is a little bit higher. The Char-Broil there at 1000 at the lowest end, the Masterbuilt, Smokin-It, Bradley's there sort of middle-ish, and then Cookshack. Inches squared. Okay, so the Cookshack has the least with 504. It only has 2 racks. Not entirely sure why. When we get to volume, we're going to notice that it doesn't have the least amount of volume. So it's a little baffling that it wouldn't have a 3rd rack, but it doesn't. Then we have the Bradleys there and in the middle, then the Smokin-It, and then that Masterbuilt, and of course, that Char-Broil touting that 1000 square inches there. All right, dollar per inches squared. The Char-Broil is going to be there at the lowest, the Cookshack at the highest. We're going to see, the Bradleys and the Smokin-Its peppered in there. All right. Then the volume, smallest is going to be that Bradley. Largest is going to be the Char-Broil. I wanted to point out that it and the Masterbuilt are estimates. I had to cut off inches from the displays on the top, and sort of guesstimated there how much it would be. I think I had better numbers for the internals for the rest of these. All right. And there you see that Cookshack one is actually has more interior area than several of these others with more square inches of racks. So interesting, like I said before. Dollar per inches cubed. Of course, the Char-Broil is going to be there, right there with the Masterbuilt, 4 cents at the bottom. Smokin-It number 2, generation 2 is at the top there. The Cookshack right behind. All right, and here we have the average 10-point. So put it on the 10-point scale again for the dollar per pound, dollar per inches squared, and dollar per inches cubed, and I averaged those together. Now, you're going to see a whole lot of words on here, and that is because these smokers, we're not really comparing apples to apples here. We're comparing apples to oranges in some sense. Now, so the top there, we have the Char-Broil. At the bottom, we have the Cookshack. And then we look at the Char-Broil. We got to look a little bit at its features. It has a double wall insulation, so there's no actual insulation there. It's just an air gap. It has a remote that you can control it from a distance. It has a probe and Amazon Stars 4.2. We look at the Masterbuilt. I couldn't figure out if it had a double wall or if it was fully insulated. It's probably the double wall, but I don't know that for certain. It has Bluetooth connectivity, right? So you can connect it to your phone, and it has 4.3 Amazon Stars. Now, we have the Bradleys there. They don't have a probe. They do have the Bisquettes, the digital Smokin-It generation 1 there next, and the larger Bradley, the digital, generation 2 for smoking it, the only one on this list with Wi-Fi. Then we have the P10s from Bradley. They are fully insulated, 2 probes, and you can program with the USB. And then the Cookshack 025. It's made in the United States. If that is what you want, that is where it is. It doesn't have any connectivity. It is digital. It has a probe. I'd have to look at the Cookshack website to see if they have a Wi-Fi model, but it would be more than $1,000. So your priorities, I guess, depends a little bit on that. But here are my thoughts on the digital stainless. Yeah, I would go with the Masterbuilt. And the reasons I would go with the Masterbuilt for the best budget stainless digital would be that, it's a little bit smaller, but not much. You have the side wood chip loader, so you don't have that on the Char-Broil. You have to open the Char-Broil, the door, and lose all that heat to add wood chips. Okay. I think Bluetooth is actually a little bit better than having a remote. You lose the remote, what are you going to do? But if you lose your phone, you get a new phone and connect with Bluetooth to the Masterbuilt. So for those reasons, I chose it over the Char-Broil. If you want Wi-Fi, Smokin-It Model 2, Generation 2. I was a little disappointed at how much more the Generation 2 Model 3 is. I believe it's around $1,400. I might be wrong about that, $1,300 or $1,400, but it's a little bit more expensive. And the difference between the Analog 2 and 3 is less, which I'm not entirely sure why those differences are different between those two. But anyways, if you want Wi-Fi connectivity, that is the only one on our list that has it. The Bradley P10, I think that if it had Wi-Fi, it would be, even in a better position. But I do feel like they were trying their best to make the best digital smoker possible when they were making this thing. And it has a lot of cool features, and, we talked about them earlier. But, if you want something that's got those features, that is, I think it's a really good model. And at that lower price point that it's currently at on their website, it might be just the right thing for you. And I think that there's a little bit of room to improve it even further. So if I were you, I might be on the lookout for a Generation 2 for this P10 as well. All right, so you've heard my thoughts. If you have, any of these smokers and you want to put a review in the comments, please do. Help your barbecue brethren and sisterin, if that's a word, out. And you know what, y'all? Thank you for being with me, and go out there and get your smoke on.